Well, conveniently enough, we just datamined a brand new Void infused Ny'alotha model. We datamined Naga stuff from 12.0.5 related to Ny'alotha, and very likely related to that now Fabled Azshara prophecy. Remember, Ny'alotha built something really bad in Ny'alotha apparently, which is why Xal'atath originally attacked him, but then they made a pact. The pact that might still be in progress, and we've only seen a part of it. Furthermore, all the Illgynoth whispers may be finally coming into place, as it all leads to this. From the golden one to the vacant throne to ushering are coming. So what is all this new info we just learned from 12.0.5, and is Ny'alotha finally coming back? With Midnight out, there is so much to catch up to, and RestedXP currently has the most up-to-date and robust leveling odds. I'm talking both factions, all the routes, farming spots, achievements, dailies, you name it. You can get everything done so much more efficiently for a one-time fee. They've got everything for hardcore and classic as well, and best of all, if you use my link below, you will get 10% off your order immediately. So check out RestedXP. So this Illgynoth guy has literally become a meme at this point. I mean, we've been pointing at everything that resembled a modicum of sense that he predicted it, and let's be real, the guy never really predicted anything at this point. It's certain Blizzard just made it all up. Based on how they held a bunch of the story, it's obvious that they're just kind of winging it, and I'm 100% certain they didn't have this planned 10 years in advance. But regardless, some of the old whispers may finally come to fruition, as, let's be real, this Xal'atath Midnight thing, realistically, is the ultimate culmination of all the old god stuff, Black Empire and everything else. We are in the final battle. It has been building up to this stage, and it's clear that some of the predictions have to end, so based on this logic, it's likely that it happens now. So you guys must have seen the Void Spire finale where a lot of things happened, but something kinda crazy happened here. Of course, some spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. To be completely honest, I do feel like the entire Xal'atath Illyria dynamic has gotten a bit stale. I mean, every time Illyria runs into Xal'atath, she gets this headache, so now that has kinda come to an end. It was clear from the start that something would happen here, the final confrontation, but what I didn't expect was that Xal'atath would pull out the Xal'atath dagger and stab Illyria with it. We'll get into what really happens later down the line in a different video, because obviously this is not the ending. We've datamined a lot more Midnight stuff, but what I really want to discuss is how did Xal'atath even get the dagger, and how kinda out of nowhere Ny'alotha seems to be coming back. Actually, if you follow this stuff closely the past few years, it's not out of nowhere, but it happened suddenly in this cinematic, and we have a suspicious amount of brand new evidence, from a new Ny'alotha model to Naga summoning him to a few more things. So something really weird is going on with Ny'alotha, and we actually got a glimpse of that in the War Within, but it was never explained what exactly was going on. Remember when Xal'atath launched the invasion of the Black Empire and they defeated her, but Xal'atath made a pact with Ny'alotha that they actually fulfilled back in BFA, but then Ny'alotha and Azshara kind of disappeared without a follow-up. Looks like that is now starting to finally materialize. So with the new information, we can actually get added context to the entire ordeal. Originally, I was under the impression that Xal'atath was working for the Void Lords and was trying to get the old gods back in line, but looks like something entirely different was going on. First of all, the Void Lords haven't been a thing for ages apparently, and there have been hints that the old gods, while originally void beings, may have mutated through the effects of Azeroth's World Soul. We've had hints Azeroth gives free will, and this kinda explains why the old gods are so fleshy and different as opposed to regular void beings. These Azeroth old gods may have originally been entirely different, but they are now in a way even native to Azeroth with their mutations. So who knows what this attack even was. It probably had nothing to do with the Warlords, but we did learn that the reason Xal'atath attacked was because Ny'alotha was apparently building something in Ny'alotha, which was never explained. So when this cinematic came out, this flashback, it was interesting, but it was never explained what was going on. All we know is that this is when Xal'atath was imprisoned in the Blade, and pretty much she only managed to get out recently, and the old gods have been warning us that she will bring only ruin. Second, remember the old dragonflight Azshara prophecy? When it comes to pass, she will come from the Veil of the Void, and we kinda expected that to happen in the War Within, but now it's obvious that a lot of War Within stuff was moved to Midnight, and now in Midnight we are right now in 12.0.5 PTR, and guess who is also in the 12.0.5 PTR? Naga, and these Naga are talking about Ny'alotha and may be related to this summoning. We've datamined Naga even back in the alpha. I've talked about this a few months back, but now we have seen more more obvious Ny'alotha-like hints. However, what I really want to talk about is the fact that Xal'atath got the blade, and she just used it. Remember, back in the day, we uncovered what we thought was just a random enchanted dagger, and looks like inside of it was literally the leader of the entire Void realm. However, she did manage to break free, and last that we saw the dagger, it was used to stab Ny'alotha, but I've been saying that the old gods don't really die in the way mortals do. Death is not really a thing for the old gods, especially you don't really stab them with a dagger, so who knows, us stabbing him might have just been a way to transfer him into the blade right under our nose, while we believe that we managed to defeat him. The thing is, we know these two had a pact that they seemingly made in the ages past. What we saw is probably a very minor part of this plan. What we also know is that he built something really bad in Ny'alotha, and also remember, we never actually visited the real Ny'alotha, and we still don't know where exactly on Azeroth this is located. I'm guessing this pact could be related to what he was building. Now, to not just go into speculation here, the main reason I'm even making this video is that we have literally datamined a brand new Ny'alotha model from just a few days back. A very different Ny'alotha, like a void infused Ny'alotha. We still can't say for certain what this is. It could just be a throwback to the old days, or it could be something new. What I do find very interesting here though is what I just talked about a minute ago, how the old gods may have been void originally, similar to Xal'atath's minions, but they transformed into fleshy beings through Azeroth. This void-infused Ny'alotha might explain his alliance or the return to his true form. Then of course we have a few more things to talk about. The fabled Illgynoth whispers, at the hour of her third death she will usher in our coming. This could realistically refer to Illyria or potentially even the Sunwell. Illyria technically died when she was lost on Outland, and her elven side died when she transformed into the void, and now she may have actually been stabbed, so this could usher in their coming, but it could also refer to the Sunwell, which has been destroyed twice before, and now it is destroyed once again. The second, that I don't really even need to explain at this point if you played Midnight, the Golden One claims a vacant throne, a crown of light will bring only darkness. I mean, you can see how relevant Aurelian is in this expansion, what is going on, they're constantly foreshadowing something bad going on with him. I think this one could be the most relevant. And lastly, we have something very likely related to the Haranir, the vessel of life disguised as treachery. Beware the eyes of green. I've actually talked about this hint for years now, but I think something is going on with Orvenia. Could be the Dreadlords, but this Haranir literally is the one that convinced them to come out of hiding, and they apparently been hiding since the dawn of time. There could be some ulterior motives going on here, and Orvenia suspiciously has green eyes. Of course, with his whispers, it could always be BS, I know, but if they're real, now in Midnight and the World's Soul Saga is when they will either happen or they will never happen. Pretty much all the prophecies led to this moment. If Ny'alotha does return though, it will be interesting to see what his role really is and what really was the pact with Xal'atath and Ny'alotha. Are they still working together? And it's almost certain now that the return of Queen Azshara is imminent as well. Thanks for watching. Check out my video on the new Illgynoth and Lord stuff we also datamined recently by clicking on the screen, and subscribe to my brand new Witcher lore channel that I've recently created by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.